And happy Thursday, June 8th, 2023, and welcome to a brand new edition of what we like to call the Clash of the Champions. I'm your host, the vegan you believe in, the heartbeat of America, the moral conscience of America, Kurt Cadet in the flesh as always, and this man needs no introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is tag team partner none other than the adventurer himself, Jonathan Randall. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, me and Kurt are bringing you the wrestling news you need to hear. Kurt, how you been?
Been pretty good, man. Just been a weird few weeks, but just getting recentered and trying to, keep a good attitude, even if things aren't necessarily going exactly the way you want them to.
That's good. I saw you were at Atlanta Braves baseball game like a week ago.
I was not at a Atlanta Braves game. I was in the area called the Battery, where the Braves ballpark is located. It's basically where the
Oh,
park is, where the
okay,
Braves Park is, Truist Park. There's like a bunch of
okay.
bars and restaurants that are like around that area where people go to hang out and stuff. So
Oh,
kind of like how like they have all those restaurants and bars around T-Mobile Arena.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like that basically.
That's nice.
Yeah, the
Oh, okay. I thought you had went to. I was like, oh, that's cool.
now I'll go to a game at some point this season, but that day I did not go. Their game didn't start until 7, and I was there like around 2 in the afternoon.
Got you. I understand. Okay.
But I do look forward to going to one of the games because I haven't been to a baseball game since 1999.
Damn,
And
that long?
yeah, it was like 99. Yeah, it was the weekend Owen Hart died, actually. Yeah, that weekend.
Where though? Do you know?
It was the Marlins game. It was a Marlins game.
Oh, Mar. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Wow. That's
Yeah, so I
dope.
haven't been to a baseball game since 1999. And also, Truist Park, where the Braves play, they do have Slutty Vegan there. So it's on, bro.
Yeah, I heard. I read a report about that.
But let's get into our wrestling news. Unfortunately, yesterday we were hit with some unexpected news as legendary wrestling icon, the Iron Sheik, passed away at 81 years old.
Oh man, I damn it. I yeah. This was literally yesterday, and I woke up and I found out about it and devastated. You know, he was 81 years old though, but that's still. I mean, he's still. That's still a long life though. But man, just hearing about it, man, especially when it comes to a legend like that, and it's like all the legends that was before our time are fading away. Guys like Roddy Piper, Dusty Rhodes. Now the Iron Sheik is just like it's sad, man. But the one thing I will is the memories. It's not just go for Iron Sheik. That's anybody that's passed away recently in our past. You know what I mean? And I tell you what, man. Now Iron Sheik, he is one of the top heels, top 10 heels in wrestling. There is no debate. Top 10 in promos. His promos were just legendary. They were the funniest promos I've ever seen. I loved it. And yes, he is going to be missed. I love his character. I just love how the way he carried himself. He was just this like he was the best heel at that time. He was the guy who dropped the belt to Hogan in '84. Crazy, man. Just like a character like that, and the thing like he did so well with that character, and one of the things that I love about his promos, him and Mean Gene work very well with each other in their promos. They gel together. You know what I mean? So that worked perfectly. I miss his promos. Good ring work and a good wrestler in the ring as well. Let's not forget about that too, though, and also the character. So yeah, he's gonna be missed, man, and I'm just sad to hear that he's gone.
Yes, I'm also sad that he passed. But the way I look at it, in the sense, in his case, is that 81 years is a good amount of time to live. It still sucks that
It
he
is.
dies. I feel for his family and his friends and all that, but 81 years is a good amount of time. He definitely lived a
Yeah.
full life, bro. Full
Yeah.
ass life, to say the least. It's so
Yeah.
crazy. I was watching his A&E documentary just a few weeks ago, and
Oh
who would have
yeah.
thought?
Oh damn. Yeah, man.
Yeah, and who would have thought just a few weeks later I'd be finding out he passed away?
Damn. It's just funny. Like I remember. I think a month ago, I sent you a promo from him from Twitter about a month ago.
Yeah, you did
Crazy.
that. You also sent me one yesterday, and then there was that one time I sent you a video of him like on the Jerry Springer show. Yo, that shit was
Yeah, yeah,
hilarious.
yeah. It was. I'm just saying, Iron Sheik was just. He's one. Like, okay, you have those heels, Kurt, where you hate the guy, but damn, they kind of make me laugh. You know what I mean? If you get my meaning,
Oh, definitely,
they're
especially like
kind
when
of
you look back at him now.
yeah. Like Iron Sheik is one of them. JBL is one heel where like you hate the guy as a character though, but some stuff that he did, you're kind of like, okay, I'm laughing. You know what I mean?
Kurt
Iron
Angle's
Sheik is
another example.
yeah, Kurt Angle, yeah. Like you have those guys where like, look, I don't like you. You're a pain in the ass, but it's like some of the stuff you did is kind of like it's funny in a way, you know what I mean? But Iron Sheik was one of them, man. It was because his promos, man, and I tell you what, he is the number one hater of Hulk Hogan. There is not one
Ooh,
promo where I've not seen where he's not bashing Hulk Hogan.
a lot of it is an act, though. I'm not sure if you know, but a lot of it is kind of an act.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know though, but it's
and
funny
and
though. It's
also
funny.
and also it's not really him. And also, it's not really him putting out those tweets.
Right, right.
Yeah, somebody runs that Twitter account. But yeah, those promos he would always cut on Hogan were hilarious. Also, those shoot interviews I would see of him over the years where he'd be
Yeah.
like, Brian Blair, you are no good punk ass son of a bitch, motherfucker, no good low life. You a punk, you a bitch. I break your fucking back, but I don't do it out of respect to Allah Jesus and respect to Mr. McMahon. He also said some other words in those interviews, but I'm not going to repeat them right now.
Got you. I feel you.
Yeah, one of them starts with the letter F, if you get my drift.
Got you.
Yeah, but he was a part of many historical moments, and one of those major moments was when he ended Bob Backlund's over 5 year run as WWE champion in Madison Square Garden after Arnold Scotland
Right.
threw in the towel as Sheik had Backlund in the camel clutch, and it was a wrap, bro. The Sheik being the champion garnered major heat.
Especially
Like,
during that time, Kurt, during the 80s.
ooh, like I've talked about like Sergeant Slaughter at the
Dude.
'91 World Rumble, but yo, this was some next level shit. Sheik's heat with the crowd was so bad that he would have to ride out of the arena in the back of an ambulance so that people wouldn't see him.
That's what I'm saying. And this and let's not forget he was managed by at one point managed by Classy Freddie Blassie.
Classic Fred Blassie, my manager, the Fred Blassie, he's the greatest manager of all time. Yeah, he was
Kurt, you
managed by
remember
Freddie
one
Blassie.
thing. You may have brain like the camel, but you are not smart as the camel.
I'm gonna break your back in the Madison Square Garden in the New York City and put you in camel clutch, make you beg for mercy, make you my little bitch. Yeah, dude was a riot. But I will say he was one of the most noteworthy transitional champions there ever was because he did beat Backlund for the belt ending that 5 year run, but then just 1 month later, he would drop it to Hulk Hogan, kicking
Damn.
off the whole Hulkamania phenomenon that would pretty much run
I was
wrestling for the
about to
next
ask you,
decade.
man, how long I'm sorry, I was about to ask you, I mean, how long did he have that belt until he dropped it to Hogan? But a month. Wow.
Yeah, he beat Backlund on December 26th of 83, the day after Christmas. And then on January 23rd of 84 is when he lost it to Hogan.
Wow.
Yeah, so yes, Sheik was pretty much only the champion for a month. And the funny backstory to this match was that Sheik claimed that Vern Gagne offered him $100,000 to like break Hogan's back for real and like really injure him, and then take the title and bring it back to the AWA. But he didn't do it. He lost to Hogan clean and dropped the belt to him, and that was that.
Damn.
Smart move.
It is
That's
smart.
crazy, bro. Yeah, Vern Gagne was mad salty about Hogan leaving to go to the WWE, so to try to get back at him, apparently that's what he tried to pull off.
Tuh.
Nah, but Sheik didn't take the money, and then he ended up having that good run with Hogan afterwards. He also feuded with Sergeant Slaughter. And another fun fact, Sheik was one of the very first people to win a title at WrestleMania, as him and Nikolai Volkov winning the tag titles at WrestleMania 1 was the very first WrestleMania title change.
Yeah, and I think him. We talk about how he got heat as a singles competitor. I feel like he got way over the top heat when he was tag team partners of Nikolai Volkov.
Oh shit. You watch WrestleMania
You
1?
got to, bro. You need to, Kurt. You need to remember something, dude. Like, look, you weren't, I know I wasn't around that time,
Bro,
but
I know. I'm aware. I've seen
I,
Rocky 4. I've
I'm
seen
very aware
every.
about pop culture during the Cold War. We were very aware of that, man. And Nikolai Kovalov being the Soviet Union, and just, dude, like
Bro,
a lot of heat, man.
I'm aware, bro. I remember Rocky 4. Pretty much half of them movies, action movies in the 80s, the villain was like a foreigner or some shit. That whole America versus Russia, America versus Iran shit in the 80s was no joke. And they were smart to take advantage of it in that
Wow.
sense. And because of that, Sheik and
Hmm.
Volkov were freaking despised, to say the very least. And then when Sheik would sing the
Oh
Russian
yeah.
national anthem, get the fuck out of here, bro.
Oh, dude. Yeah, it got really hectic to the point fans were throwing debris
Oh, yes,
in the ring.
especially at WrestleMania 3.
Yeah. Mm.
And then obviously the end of his WWE run happened with the whole arrest with him and Hacksaw Jim Duggan when they got caught with drugs, and they were also a good guy wrestler and a bad guy wrestler traveling together. He was still around here and there. He had like runs where he came back, but that was pretty much like the end of his peak. His whole peak was like from that
Gotcha.
83 to 87 period.
I see. I see. Mm.
And then but one thing I did like about him, one thing that always stood out to me were his fucking wrestling boots.
Who? Sheiks?
Yeah, how they curled up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 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 I mean, come on now. Like you, Middle East. You're from Iran, so yeah. Of course. I mean that was very creative though. Very creative because you didn't see stuff like that, creative like that during that time. You know what I mean? It's different if you were to see it now, but at that time it was very creative. You know what I mean? So yeah.
And he used it as a weapon too.
Oh,
Of course, bro, those shits were sharp as fuck.
even though they were be curved though, but
And he had the same wife for pretty much 50 years too.
oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, he also had 3 kids, but unfortunately, one of his daughters actually died a few years ago. She was, I think, murdered by her boyfriend.
Oh man, yeah, I remember you were mentioning that to me about that like a while back ago, saying how he wasn't really the same after that.
Obviously, yeah, it goes without saying. And even on the documentary, the A&E one, they did interview him, but you could definitely tell he's like a lot older now, and like he's not the same.
Right, right.
Yeah, like I could definitely tell like his health was deteriorating, and
Yeah,
I mean, it
yeah.
sucks that he passed away, but I mean, obviously, to me, it's not like a super surprise considering that.
It's crazy. I mean, I mean, it's just because like, I mean, the last time we talked, Kurt, I mean, we had another celebrity superstar figure that passed away. We were talking about Tina Turner, and then now this. So yeah, it is a bit of a shocker, man. But at the same
Also,
time,
superstar Billy
yeah,
Graham.
81.
Also, superstar Billy
Yeah,
Graham. You got to mention too.
yeah. But I mean, yeah, 81 years old. That's big lifespan and a blessed lifespan to live that long. You know what I mean? So
And he lived a full life, bro. He lived a full life. He grew up in
he did.
Iran and then ended up moving to America. He was even in the Olympics. He even competed in the Olympics.
Oh, I did not know that.
He was also trained by Vern Gagne. He was trained by Vern Gagne like in the early 70s. Yeah, he was a legit
Mm.
wrestler. That's why Vern was gonna pay him so much money to break Hogan's back because he could. Because like Sheik legit could fuck you up. Just like Brock, just like Kurt Angle, all those legit wrestlers, Sheik was also in that mix.
Oh, okay.
And you know how he used to do that shit with like those clubs, like when he would like swing them around.
Right. Yeah, I saw an interview where he was doing that.
Yo, that's beastly,
He
bro.
did like
Not a lot of people could do that
that.
shit.
That's what I'm saying. He did, dude. He did about over 50 sets of those, man.
Yeah,
That's
that shit was crazy. But the one thing that's weird to me is seeing those pictures of him in his past when he had hair.
really,
He looks so different with hair, bro. It's crazy. Yeah, if you look up like
dude.
old
He
pictures
looks
of him
so
from back
different.
then.
Bro, he looks so different without the mustache. Like when he was like a little bit slimmer. Like he like when he looked very younger, he looked completely different.
That mustache also stood out to me. Holy shit, man! Mustache always fucking got my attention.
Yeah, that's the signature. Hey, hey, we talk about how I think each wrestler has their own little signature appearance. You could say Sheik had that signature mustache, Hogan with his mustache and the hair, Austin and his baldness. The Rock's eyebrows. So yeah, but it's
I'm thinking of the movie Hook. Like you remember, remember when they take off the wig on Dustin Hoffman? How like his hair looks, and it's
oh
like
Lord.
I kind of feel like they got.
So Jesus.
I kind of feel like they got that from Iron Sheik. I, I'm,
Stop.
I'm,
The whole entire time the dude had gray hair. I was like, no. It's like,
bro, I'm telling you,
oh my
that's the
goodness.
only movie that Robin Williams was outperformed by another actor.
Okay.
Only time it ever happened,
I
as
feel
far as I've seen.
it. Got
But Iron Sheik, just like Hogan, just like Piper, just like Junkyard Dog, he was like one of those characters from that era who's literally a part of pop culture. Like when you think of wrestling in the
Oh
80s,
yeah.
he's definitely one of those characters you think of. And also hands down one of the
Yes.
top ten best villains of all time. Top 10, hands
Yes,
down.
that's easily top 10 and also in promos.
Yes. Different, but yes, definitely entertaining and catch your attention. They piss you
Well, the
off,
thing was different because you got to remember you have a foreigner. Like, how often do you got to remember it when you're able to do promos that good, especially like if you're a foreigner, because you got to remember you speak a different language, you talk a little bit differently, but yet you're still able to get across to your audience in a way that says a lot, Kurt.
but yes, hands down one of the most memorable characters in all of wrestling, and definitely somebody who will not be forgotten. And condolences to his family and friends, and may he rest in peace. And whatever suffering he was going through while he was alive, I just hope he's no longer going through that suffering anymore.
No, that whatever no whatever suffering that you have in life, once the passing of time, when you pass away, your suffering is over.
Yes, indeed. All right, so moving on to other wrestling news, we did have a pay per view since the last time we spoke to you guys called Night of Champions that did take place in Saudi Arabia. And I have to say, a pretty damn good show. Pretty
Yes,
damn good show.
it was. It took me by surprise. Lately the Saudi Arabia shows have, like we said in our last episode, Kurt, the Saudi Arabia shows have been good, surprisingly good. Sometimes I don't know. Lately, with certain pay per views, especially with the Saudi Arabia ones, I noticed that the build ups are not as good for certain matches, though. But when we watch the matches, surprisingly, they're good. And this show was actually pretty good. Most of the matches were good, on point.
Yes, and in the opening match of the show, which caught me by surprise, at least at first, we had the finals of
Yeah.
the World Heavyweight Title Tournament featuring Seth Rollins and AJ Styles.
Yeah. I argued that, I mean, if they want to make that belt important and prove the naysayers wrong, I'm going to repeat it. I said it then and I'll say it again. You got to at least put that match on last. But due to the circumstances, I kind of figure why that they put the tag match last, though. But it is what it is. There's nothing wrong with going on first. If you go on first, that says a lot. But yeah, Seth Rollins and AJ Styles for the World Heavyweight Championship went on first, and it was a decent match, a great match. Kurt, what do you think about it throughout the match?
I thought they bodied it. I was actually kind of concerned at one point that Seth was actually hurt for real because there was that one point where he tried
Yeah, he did.
the curb stomp and then like he like collapsed.
Well, there's one point where he did the outside ring, like he dove through the ropes to AJ Styles outside the ring. I think that's where he kind of like tweaked his knee a little bit. What I noticed, and I that's where I got concerned.
Yeah, that's where it started. Then it got worse, and then as the match went on, you almost thought AJ was going to win considering this, but To my surprise, Rollins ended up making a comeback. So I hit AJ with the curb stomp, and Seth Rollins is the new and now the first of this era World Heavyweight Champion. And I have to say, the belt looks damn good on him.
It does, and just the belt period looks good. It took me time for me to get to used to it and adjust to it, but like I said, the more I look at it, the more I like it, and it looks good on him. And just in general, I like the belt in general, and I just hope that this championship will be taken serious in the right way moving forward.
Yes, and also what I liked about this was that after the match, Triple H was there to hand the belt to Rollins, very similar to when Triple H handed
Mm-hmm.
the NXT title to Rollins when Rollins was the first NXT champion back in 2012. I
Yeah.
like that little throwback.
Oh yes, I like that.
And I figured Rollins would win considering that he's younger and he has more momentum right now. And since he's on
Oh
Raw, it would
yeah,
make more sense for him to have it.
yeah, absolutely. That belt was made for to be on Raw, and then again, it was just the build up to it was just so weird because like they had a tournament, but yet you had a tournament qualifying matches on SmackDown. And I was saying to myself, why are you have a championship belt exclusive for Raw, but yet you're having wrestlers from SmackDown trying to compete for it? And then it put me in a scenario where, well, okay, well Seth Rollins is filming and everybody was speculating that. Well, I don't know if Rollins is going to have the belt because he's filming, but I'm like, I think it's not that long. And then, and then I said to myself, well, if AJ were to win, does that mean he's going to be on Raw? Or I was kind of like, I'm a bit confused, but obviously the right choice was to go with Seth Rollins because he was on Raw and he just had one heck of momentum pretty much like for the months prior, even going to WrestleMania, he just has a huge build right now. So build off of that. You put the World Heavyweight Championship belt on him, and you keep it moving from there.
Yes, and I think he's gonna have a good run the way it's start looking and starting so far. Was kind of bummed at first, like when I found out they were going on first, but then after I thought about it, I'm like, okay, something's probably gonna go down in the main event, and I was right, and we'll get into that a little later.
Yeah,
But moving on,
yeah.
we had Trish Stratus against Becky Lynch. I like how creative they got with their outfits,
Becky
by the way.
Lynch or Kill Bill? Yeah,
Yes, yes, Kill Bill or Kill Trish in Becky's case.
yeah. I love her outfit. I tell you,
I
man.
like both of their outfits
Oh man,
actually.
but
I like both of their outfits, and I do like
yeah,
how creative the women are getting more with their outfits in the last few times they've been there.
they are. I noticed that. I noticed that because at first they weren't. You couldn't really do much,
Yeah, they
but
wear like a t-shirt. They like wear like a big t-shirt or big sweater or something.
yeah, but they were very creative with all the women that competed that night. Very creative with their outfits. But yeah, did I did I say that match was going to be no contest, or is that what I predicted?
Something along those lines. What I did predict was that Trish was going to win by cheating, and what do you know? Kurt got it right again as
Yeah,
Becky was throwing Trish back into the ring. Trish was distracting the referee, and Zoe Stark comes from underneath the ring, attacks Becky, hits her with her finisher, bloodying her nose in the process, and that allows Trish to pick up the win. And now Trish and Zoe
yeah,
Stark are now a team, and they're going to be an act together on the show for the next few months.
yeah. So I mean, but I also did predict that this feud is not over.
Yes,
So
we both did predict that, and
I
this is a way to keep it going
yeah,
with the addition of Zoe Stark.
yeah. hmm But it was a good match though. That it was a great match. Trish, oh my god,
Very hard hitting too.
very hard hitting, but man, just Trish is all these years still able to hold up her own, man.
Yeah, she still looks great. She still performs well in the ring, and yeah, she hasn't aged even a little bit in
Very
any
well,
parts.
right?
More power to her.
Yeah.
But yes, this feud will be continuing. I like the addition of Zoe Stark, and damn, yeah, that shit that happened to Becky in that scenario definitely gave me flashbacks of the Nia Jax incident.
Oh, oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
She bloodied her up bad, bro.
yeah. Damn.
But as they say, it ain't ballet.
Hell no, it's not as Jr. put out. It's not your softball league in Memphis.
No, it is
it's a
not your
it's a
softball league in
contact
Memphis.
sport, Kurt. Oh man,
And then for the Intercontinental title, we had Gunther defending against Mustafa Ali.
Mustafa Ali was he held in there. But I mean,
He had a great
yeah,
performance. Yeah, he had a great performance. I was a lot more competitive in it than I thought he would be, and the
yeah,
match was overall a lot of fun. But as fun as it was, the outcome was never in question as Gunther powerbombed Mustafa Ali into sometime next year,
good
and
lord,
Gunther retains the title.
Jesus.
And Mustafa Ali is lost somewhere in 2024.
I think rumor has it they're still trying to look for him underground.
Actually, no, Mustafa Ali was recently seen in NXT, so that's where he is.
Oh yes, yeah.
And this weekend, Gunther will surpass 1 year of being Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, we need to give him a celebration now.
Bro, there's only two other people who have held the Intercontinental title for longer than a year, and those two people were Macho Man and Honky Tonk Man.
Wow.
Only two
Oof.
people to have a title reign with that belt for longer than a year, and that those
Wow.
title reigns were both in the '80s.
Wow. Gunther needs a celebration. Damn it.
I wonder what kind of party he threw, or what kind of music he'd like.
Probably like the same party they threw when he got married. I saw that
Maybe
video of
maybe
him
his party will be
dancing.
like the costume party Method Man and Redman threw in How High.
Oh God.
He'll, he'll be jamming to Cypress Hill. I can imagine that. Can imagine Gunther throwing a party or like doing the Soul Train line with Imperium.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I saw him freaking dancing his tail off at his wedding. So,
All right. Okay, I think we've talked about this enough. Let's move on. For the Raw Women's
yeah.
Championship, we had two SmackDown women as Bianca Belair defended against Asuka.
And I was not expecting this, but oh my God, did I? I think this was like the surprise of the night for me. Asuka defeated Bianca Belair to become the new Raw's Women's Championship, and I love the ending of the match. Throughout the match it was a great match, good match. They always work well with each other. But in this scenario, so Asuka had missed shooting I thought it was her blue miss at Asuka. Bianca Belair ducked, but as Asuka was down, apparently she spit more mist into her hand. Bianca Belair picks up Asuka, and as she's about to perform her finisher on Asuka, Asuka pretty much uses her hand and blinds Bianca Belair with the mist on her hands, causing the distraction and getting a win. Wow.
Yeah, it was shocking, bro. I mean, going into this show, I was not expecting the title to change because they already did the match at
Neither.
WrestleMania and Bianca won.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not you don't really expect the reign to come to an end at this show, but lo and
Yeah.
behold, they actually did that shit.
Crazy.
I'm not gonna lie, part of me was kind of bummed that she lost.
Why?
Just the reign she's had.
Yeah, but I know, but you've been late, but you've been saying like she hasn't really, has that. I want to say momentum is just not have like challengers and a good storyline yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I'm not knocking the move because obviously, yes, I did say something needed to change with her. Maybe this is the start to it, but it just like threw me off. I wasn't expecting it to happen on this night,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, just considering the run that she's had over the last year, it kind of was sad to see it end. Even if maybe it needed to, it was still sad to see it end nonetheless.
Hmm.
Yeah, just certain title reigns are just so good when they finally end. Even if they do need to end, it still does kind of like make you feel some type of way.
Is there another title reign that you look back that made you feel a certain way when it ended?
Razor Ramon's Intercontinental title reign at the '95 Royal Rumble, I felt that way for that.
Mhm.
I know it only lasted for a day, but when Austin lost the title to King of the Ring '98,
Oh yeah, because you thought you really like, damn, what just happened?
oh,
Oh man.
bro, yeah, I was not happy. I was upset. I was upset.
Oh man.
Oof,
But
oof.
yeah, I bet
And I was just so relieved when he went back the next day.
I bet. Oh man.
Yeah, I was hot. I was hot. Hogan at WrestleMania 6. Need I say more?
You know what? I think the one that really hits my mind, I think the one that I took personally was the fact that Triple H lost to Hogan at Backlash because like Triple H only had that championship for a month.
Nah.
He had came back hurt from surgery, tearing his quad. He comes back, wins the Royal Rumble. That journey of him doing that, going to WrestleMania, winning the championship, and then a month later, you lose to Hogan. And the fact that it wasn't the fact that he just lost. Well, he lost that match because of Taker, because of Undertaker. So that pissed me off even more. The fact that like you only had that belt for a month and you lose it by getting cheated out because of somebody else's distraction. Yo, I wasn't cool with that at that time.
Damn. Were you also upset when Eddie Guerrero lost the belt to JBL?
Ooh, um, I mean, yeah, I was. I mean, I kind of was, but I was shocked. But I had this confidence within myself that I don't think it was going to last long. I think I was more mad that the fact that Eddie lost.
Not
Hold
gonna
on,
last
don't
long.
laugh. No, at that time, Kurt, I'm being bro. I'm
1 year later.
seriously. Stop it. Hold on. Hold on, bro. I think I took it more personally when Eddie lost the cage match against JBL. If you remember that, remember when Kurt Angle distracted?
Of course I do. Of course I do.
Yeah, I took that one a little bit more personally because I was like, I literally thought Eddie was gonna get the title back because at that time I really didn't think like JBL was gonna like I don't know I was like he won it but I was like maybe it won't last that long but then later on I was like holy crap never mind. But
A lot of people also say Savage losing to Hogan at WrestleMania 5. A lot of people maintain that Savage should have kept the title a little bit longer for the momentum he had at that point and for how hot the feud was at that point, too.
I kind of get what you're saying though, but Kurt, but you got to realize that we were really not really putting ourselves in at that time frame because you got to remember this is 1989. Things were completely different at the time. If this were to take place right now, then it would have happened. But you got to remember at that time, Kurt, it's the late 80s. WrestleMania is still like a very fresh and new, event. And that's something. There's certain things that you don't do at that particular time. If it was at a SummerSlam or a Royal Rumble, then yeah. If it took place during this time, then yeah. But at that time, I get
At
it. The
WrestleMania,
storyline.
I
That's
understand, but
I get it about the storyline. Like, oh, that is messed up. It is. It is like when you like, especially when you compare it to a real life situation. Oh yeah, that is messed up. You know what I mean? But you got to remember though, but like at that time, man, things were completely different at the time. And then if you notice years later down the road, then the company starts to get comfortable. Well, we'll let the heel go over at WrestleMania. You know what I mean? We saw that at WrestleMania 9 with Yokozuna and Bret Hart. We saw that at WrestleMania 16 when Triple H retained his title over The Rock, which was to this day was just that just still blows my mind. But yeah,
yeah, but like I said, there's like a lot of title reigns. Like even if they did need to end and it was best for business for it to end, it still like hurt to see it end. And I would say I'll probably put Hogan at WrestleMania 6 as the top one. Like that's the one
mm,
where like you definitely feel it. Like even if you were a Warrior fan, and even if you were sick of Hogan by that point, it definitely felt like the end of an era. Like after that match,
yeah,
how WrestleMania 17 was the end of the Attitude Era. In a way, WrestleMania 6 was like the end of like that 80s golden era.
yeah, yeah. Hmm. Oh yeah,
When you consider all that, how like Hogan loses, Warrior's the new guy, and then you see the way Hogan leaves at the end with like that sad look on his face.
yeah.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking, bro. Yeah, it shit broke your heart.
Of course.
All right, so let's move on to the next match. So for the SmackDown Women's Championship, we had two Raw women competing for it, as it was Rhea Ripley looking like Catwoman in her outfit,
Yeah.
defending against Natalia. I was getting some Michelle Pfeiffer vibes from Rhea Ripley on this night.
Yeah, I saw that. Like I said, I think she had the best creative outfit she had with the women that night. Um,
I thought Bianca's was cool too.
yeah, yeah, that one too. I knew Rhea Ripley was going to win though, but wasn't really expecting the match to go that short. It only lasted a minute and 10 seconds though, but really nothing much to see there though. But so yeah, Rhea Ripley retained her title. Not a surprise to us.
And she fucking slammed Natalia's ass with that riptide. She like the way she picked her up. Holy shit! And she just dropped her ass. Yeah, that was one of the best riptides I think I've ever seen her do. But yeah,
Mm.
record timing for whatever reason. I'm not sure why it was so short, but the
Yeah,
outcome was never in doubt. So I'm not gonna complain.
yeah.
And one thing about Bianca, the one thing I noticed about Bianca, I saw her post on her story last week. Considering that she just lost the title, she put up a story last week that that day was the first time in over a year she was actually able to to make breakfast for her husband and like her stepkids and everything.
Are you serious?
Yeah, she said it was like the
Oh
first time in
wow.
a good year that she's actually been able to make breakfast for like the whole family. And also,
Oh
they
wow.
went out on the boat that Montez Ford got for her last year for her birthday, and she said that was also the like first time in a year they've gone out on that boat.
Holy! Oh, are you serious? Oh, I remember when he got her
Yeah,
that bow. Yeah.
yeah, her
Wow.
schedule's crazy, bro. Especially having the title for as long as she did. Yeah, she was in very high demand. But I will say she was a great champion, not just because of her matches, like the quality of her matches, but also like the way she carried herself and like the good ambassador she was and has been for the company.
Oh, absolutely.
Like the same way John Cena is a good ambassador for the company, and also Cody Rhodes and Roman. You could throw Bianca in that mix too.
Yeah, you could easily say he's like the top woman as a contributor to that. So yeah.
Yeah, it's so crazy. I saw this post a while ago saying that Bianca is everything that they wanted Sasha to be.
Hmm. Good point.
Yeah, that kind of threw me off when I saw that. I mean, I don't know if it's because of a behavior thing or whatever it is, attitude thing, but they definitely did a lot more with Bianca and pushed her a lot harder than they ever did for Sasha.
True. That is true.
They gave Sasha a lot, don't get me wrong, they definitely gave Sasha a lot, but it just always threw me off that they like had her title reigns be so short.
Yeah. Lack of confidence, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it was. With the exception of that SmackDown women's title reign she had that went into that match with Bianca, yeah, none of her title reigns lasted longer than a month on the main roster.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I'm happy Bianca's getting a little bit of a break, and hopefully this title change will like lead to like a good change in character and spice things up, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Hmm.
And then we had in our one of our second of our three main events for this show, we had Cody Rhodes against Brock Lesnar.
This was a you know, decent match, and
It was better than their match at Backlash. I'll give it that. It was definitely better than the match, the last pay per view.
it was a little longer.
Yeah, exactly. Like I felt like
A little longer.
it still wasn't like an amazing match. I wouldn't call it my favorite match, but it would still, I felt an improvement over the match at Backlash. I thought
The fact that Cody Rhodes had a cast on and he used the cast as a weapon, and I was getting flashbacks of Cowboy Bob Orton.
that and
But
that and Undertaker 2002 No Mercy.
oh yeah, yeah. But yeah, I really thought at one point, I think when Cody hit the second crossroads, I really thought, oh my god, I thought this is it. But Lesnar surprisingly kicked out. But no, how this match ended, Lesnar had Cody Rhodes in the Kimura lock, and Cody Rhodes passed out.
And because he passed out, the referee stopped the match and Brock won. And he actually had him in the
Yeah,
Kimura lock multiple times throughout the match. And actually, that's a big reason
yeah.
why this match was kind of criticized because they felt that, like, him being in the Kimura lock that many times with a broken arm going into it wasn't really realistic.
Hmm.
I mean, I get why people would say that maybe, but I enjoyed the match for what it was, and it accomplished what it needed to with Brock winning the second one. So now they're gonna have their third match.
To extend the story.
Yeah, now they're gonna have their third
Hmm.
match. I'm hearing their third match is gonna have like a special stipulation that hasn't been used in a while.
Oh, really?
Yes, and from what it's looking now, they're probably gonna do that match at SummerSlam.
My question has pretty much have been answered, and and this is regarding to Roman Reigns. So they're gonna keep the belt on him until WrestleMania next year.
The way I'm seeing it now, yes, because I don't see them going back to Cody and Roman right now with the Cody
No,
and Brock shit still going on and Roman and the Bloodline stuff still going on. Yeah, I think that's
yeah,
gonna
no,
be. I think those separate feuds are gonna be occupying their time for the time being.
yeah. It's probably yeah. So we're gonna pretty much wait till next year after what you just told me that the most likely finish.
Hopefully, this will have the same payoff that Rocky 2 did.
What? Wait. Are you talking about Roman and Cody, or are you talking about Brock and Cody?
Roman and Cody.
As far as the build up, yeah. As far as like the fight in general, the build up, yeah. Let's. I hope so. Yeah.
Outcome, everything. Yeah, that's what I mean.
True. True.
Because obviously Rocky doesn't win the title at the end of the fight in the first one. So then you wait 3 years, well, in a year, the storyline in the movie's case, for
Yeah.
him to get the rematch. And then in the rematch, he finally wins.
Hmm.
But it's a sweet moment. Honestly, the ending to the second movie is my favorite ending out of all of them.
Really over four?
It's hard. It's close between those two, but yeah, but that just him like finally winning and then like him saying the "Yo, Adrian, I did it" line at the end,
True.
yeah, it's just perfect.
True. But that fourth one hit differently though, because you got that Cold War theme, and he was
I
in.
know, I get it, I get it.
Yeah,
I'm
I
I'm
know. I
saying that they're both close.
yeah. Man, those are tough.
All right, but anyway, yeah. So Brock wins, and we're more than likely getting the third match at SummerSlam, and we're on to the main events. For the tag team titles, we had Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens defending against Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. And I love the entrance by Sami Zayn where he was wearing like the outfit.
I loved how he was speaking in Arabic.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did do that. He did the ring introduction in Arabic. That's right. He did do that.
Yes, I love that. I thought that was dope.
Yeah, I think it was the first time he's performed there in over a decade, from what they said.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that meant a lot to him. That's why he was wearing the outfit. I don't know what they
I'm
call
not
it
sure
over
what to
there,
call it
but
either. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, he was wearing that, and yeah, he introduced himself and Kevin Owens in Arabic. I thought that was dope.
Yeah, it was really cool to see that, and like I feel like that reaction he got was like close rival to the one that he got at Montreal at Elimination Chamber. Very close.
Oh my god, Kurt, we're gonna look back at that night. One of the best moments of this year.
Yeah, this year's had a lot of good moments. I mean, I know we've been like kind of salty since WrestleMania the way it ended, but overall, there's been a lot of good shit being
I
revealed this year.
know. I know. Shit.
We gotta move on, bro.
Oh my
We gotta
god.
move on. It sucked, but we gotta move
It would
on.
piss me off, bro. You know what? Look, let's just say if Cody, would win next year, right? As much as I'll be happy for him, that will kind of piss me off that I'm not there. Well, damn, my first WrestleMania that I go to, I didn't see like a good WrestleMania moment because Cody lost, but yet the following year I'm not there. Cody wins.
Same thing happened with me with the streak. I went to
Jeez.
WrestleMania 29 thinking he would lose to Punk, and it didn't happen. I decided not to go to WrestleMania New Orleans the next year, and that's the year he ends up losing.
Great.
And a better WrestleMania at that overall,
That's,
too.
that's just great. First
All right, but
WrestleMania I go to, I was hoping to get a moment, but yeah. But anyway,
bro, you got plenty of moments. I mean, you didn't get that moment,
what?
granted, but you got plenty of moments.
What do you mean?
You got to see Sammy and Kevin Owens win the tag titles. You
Oh
got to
yeah,
see
I know.
Rhea win the
Yeah,
women's title.
yes.
You got to see the man of your nightmares, Dominic, make his entrance in the police paddy
Oh
wagon.
Jesus. Saw Snoop Dogg in person.
And then as you trembled in fear.
Oh, hey! I had a restraining order on him. That's why my seats were so high.
Oh, really? And you did to him just like what Kreese did to Amanda in Cobra Kai after she smacked his ass.
But yeah, but yeah,
All right, anyway.
but anyway, it was a good match, but it got more interesting once the Usos arrived.
That usually tends to happen a lot with these freaking Roman and Bloodline
I
matches.
know. Yeah.
Like it's good. It's good. It has a nice pace, but then like the real meat and potatoes of it is like in the last like 5 minutes, like when the
Yeah.
referee bump happens. The fucking referee bumps,
Mm-hmm.
motherfucking referee bumps.
Exactly. Then
So the
guess.
referee gets knocked down. No surprise.
Yep. Oh, here comes the Usos. Both do their double super kicks, and yep. We know the whole scenario, but guess what though? It was turning out in that way as they're about to super kick Sami Zayn, but he ducked and they accidentally super kick Roman.
Solo. They super.
Oh, Solo. Sorry, my bad. Solo, my bad. I had a feeling that was going to happen. I wasn't surprised.
Yeah, I knew something was gonna go down where they were gonna interfere and like they were gonna try to help Roman and Solo win, but it was gonna backfire. And yeah, this is exactly what I thought.
You even predicted that, saying that they were going to. Yeah, you
Yeah, so that's
predicted
exactly
that.
what happened. But what I did not predict would happen happened next. As Roman was super pissed after this happened, he got into both their faces. Pie face Jimmy, pie face Jay, and he was like really bitching out Jay, yelling at him, screaming at him. And then as he turns around, Jimmy Uso super kicks Roman in the freaking face. Oh, it was great. Oh, it was
It was
great.
great. What do you think was better, that or when Sammy hit the steel chair on Roman at the Royal Rumble?
This I would put this and that other scenario on the same level as Virgil hitting DiBiase with the $1 million belt at the '91 Royal Rumble, where like you're like so happy to finally see
Oh
this person
wow,
stand up for themselves and fight back against the person fucking with them this whole time, and it's just beautiful shit, bro. Beautiful
yeah.
shit. So then, yeah, he super kicks Roman, and then he said we should have done this a long time ago. Then he super kicks him again, and Roman falls out of the ring, and then Jey Uso's like flipping out, freaking out. He doesn't know what to
Oof.
do, and then Jimmy
Damn.
just,
The look on Paul
oh
Heyman's face to me is the
shit.
whole story, dude.
Paul
Oh
Heyman had that
man.
look that like somebody would come, be knocking on his door looking for the money that he owes him from ECW.
Tommy Dreamer.
Oh, you heard that story, right? Of like Tommy
Yeah,
Dreamer
I did.
supposedly was gonna go like sneak into WrestleMania and then shoot Paul Heyman on the broadcast.
Yeah.
The
Yup.
fuck?
Jeez, dude. Paul Heyman owed wrestlers money back like it's freaking like the mob.
Yeah,
Like, where's
actually,
my money? Like, dude,
yeah, it's fucked up, but yeah, Heyman comes off very bad in the Tammy Stitch and Chris Candido episode. He does not come off well in that.
as a business person,
Yeah, I'll tell you about it later, but yeah, he comes off very bad in that episode.
mm,
But yeah, Heyman's like freaking in shock when this all happens. And then Jimmy just like tells Jay, yo, we're out of here. We're leaving. And then he like takes Jay with him. Jay's like very hesitant the whole time to leave, but he still leaves with Jimmy anyway. And then this allows Sammy and Kevin Owens to take advantage and double team Solo, hit him with the Huluva kick. And Sammy and Kevin retain the tag team titles, leaving Roman in a state of shock, confusion, and his first loss, actual first loss, kind of in a very long time.
but wasn't pinned. Wasn't pinned. Remember that now. Wasn't pinned, but
Still,
still,
yeah,
a
and it
loss is
wasn't
a
pinned,
loss.
wasn't
Loss
pinned,
is
but
a
he still
loss.
lost,
Yeah,
and he still walked out of that show dejected, disappointed,
yeah. That's the
and
first time in a long time since I've seen that. Oh my goodness.
and not feeling very tribal chief like.
Nope, not chiefing today.
I just love that shot of Sammy and Kevin Owens like standing on the ropes with holding the belts up as and like just looking down at Roman and he's like all depressed and like all like down about everything that happened. And then he basically tells Roman, "You can't have these. You can't have these." And then like a chant I think starts by that. Yeah, it was great. Even though we didn't get to see Roman lose at WrestleMania, it was good to at least see this happen. I'll take it.
It was, but yeah, but bro, you thought that was bad. Kurt, when that moment comes when he does lose the championship, that's going to be worse. I just cannot imagine how he's going to accept all that because you saw how he reacted to this, right? You think that's bad. Imagine what's gonna happen when he really loses. Like when he gets pinned, 1, 2, 3. When he loses his Universal Championship.
Yes, it'll be a
Man,
monumental moment, and unfortunately, we're probably gonna have to wait another year to see it.
yeah. But I'm just waiting for that facial that expression. I'm waiting for that. How I'm just curious on what's gonna look like, man. But we're gonna have to wait until a year if it happens, though. But yeah,
He's gonna look like Terry Silver after Daniel whooped his ass at the end of season 5.
good lord.
Yeah. But anyway, yes. So Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens retain, but this whole Bloodline storyline would carry over into SmackDown that following Friday, as it would mark the 1,000-day celebration of Roman's title reign. And it was gonna be, and they did like this nice video package throughout the show, like doing this timeline of everybody he beat and like all like the championship reigns he like surpassed and the whole time he's been champion. It was a very well done video package.
Mm,
And it just kind of took you back, like it shows you like when his reign first started, and like when he beat this person, when he
crazy.
beat that person.
Since the pandemic,
The
Kurt.
weekend Chadwick Boseman died. That's when Roman first won the title.
Dude.
And ever since then, the two people he beat for the title in that match were fired and rehired.
Crazy.
Yeah, so Roman's having his celebration, his whole 1,000-day celebration, and the Usos are supposedly barred from the arena. And as Roman comes out, he's presented by Triple H with a new undisputed title belt, which everyone is calling the mustard title now.
Jesus, WWE had an opportunity. They had the ball and they didn't run with it, Kurt.
Yeah,
Okay,
this is lazy. It was just a lazy. It
this
was just a
is
lazy,
damn it the
lazy
hell.
design. Very
Damn it,
lazy
you
design.
had an opportunity to compete with the World Heavyweight Championship belt designs, and again, you just got to go corporate. Oh, let's just put on the big old WWE logo and just You know what I mean? There is no
Yeah,
creativity anymore in this world. I don't know if you notice this, Kurt. I've noticed that with a lot of food corporations like fast food. I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic, but you notice how like back in the day where you go to like a Subway or McDonald's, it looked just very creative, it looked different, and you look at them now, they just look just corporate looking.
they had like life to them.
Yeah,
They had like life and color to them,
yeah,
and now they're just boring. Like I think I saw this online a few months ago talking about how like McDonald's used to look like an excited child. Now it looks like a depressed adult, like the way the
depressed middle
restaurants look
aged
now.
adult. Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm comparing it at, man. Because it's like, dude, like you had an opportunity to generate more sales, like compete, be creative, but you just like, come on, man. You could have easily could have put an eagle on it. You could have made it similar to the Wink Eagle belt, from like the late '80s or '90s or whatever you want to do it. You had something to work your magic with, but you didn't do it. You didn't do it.
Yeah, it sucks. They definitely could have done a better job with it, but whatever. What are you gonna do?
Ain't get my money, shit. I'll pay. I will buy the replica World Heavyweight Championship belt. I would. I would consider buying it.
Yeah, and that's one thing that new title has over the undisputed title. It's definitely a nicer looking belt.
Yes. Thank God they did something well with that belt. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so
Whew.
Roman gets his new title and says his whole acknowledge me thing. But then as he does that, the Usos come out, and then he kind of tries to make a truce with Roman. He tries to like make peace with him and everything. And then Roman seemingly seems to be down for this, and like him and Jimmy hug. And then as they're hugging, he says no. And then he calls for Solo to do what Solo does, which is exactly what he did, hitting Jimmy with the fucking Samoan spike. And Jay was standing there all confused, not knowing what to do. But he did stay with his brother to try to help him as Roman and Solo left the ring. And then as they were leaving with Paul Heyman, Heyman asked, "What about Jay?" And then Roman simply said, "Jay will do what he always does. Fall in line."
Damn.
And that segment was the reason why SmackDown did a 2.5 million rating on Friday, and also that video of the whole Bloodline segment did 50 million views on YouTube.
Good lord, that boy
Yeah, shit did work. Shit did work, bro.
did. I tell you what, I think is going to happen. I think Roman make a little comment. Oh, Jay will fall in line. He's going to get to a point where he won't fall in line anymore. He's going to stick for his brother.
More than
And
likely that I think the way this is looking now, I think the way this is looking now is that it's probably gonna lead to a tag match at Money in the Bank with Roman and Solo against Jimmy and Jay.
yeah, I wonder if it's going to happen at SummerSlam though.
They'll probably do like Roman against either Jimmy or Jay, or maybe they'll do like a four-way with all four of them.
Hmm.
It could happen. They've been teasing kind of Solo and Roman, kind of like
You notice? Did you
having
notice
small
when
small issues.
you remember when Roman accidentally bumped into Solo and he kind of had that look like, oh, like my bad kind of look. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
that's exactly what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
So,
Yeah, exactly.
hmm. Yeah.
And they're gonna do another segment tomorrow night on SmackDown where Jay has to choose who he's gonna be aligning with, whether it be Roman or his brother. And I think we all know where this is gonna go.
Yeah. I can't wait to see this.
But I have to say, the Bloodline shit is still the best part of the show.
Hell
The
yeah.
Bloodline shit still kicks.
Hell yeah. There's no doubt.
It's just too bad, like the other segments and like the other storylines can't be like on the same level or at least close to it.
Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Sometimes I think it's always well. I mean, I think it's always been like that for years. You know what I mean? You always have your lead off, you know, and then you have the other segments where maybe one is it is somewhat good though, but it's not as good as your lead off though. But then you have the others where they're kind of like meh, so it happens.
Yeah, but in any event, so yeah, for Money in the Bank, I do predict they're probably going to do that tag match, and I also do think the way it's looking now, they're probably going to do Seth Rollins against Finn Balor for the title after what happened on Raw Monday. Seth had a great match with Damian Priest for the title that main evented the show, but as the match was about to end, Finn Balor tried to interfere, and this actually upset Damian Priest and distracted him to the point where he was asking Finn, like, yo, what are you doing out here? And that
Wow,
allowed Seth Rollins to take advantage and hit the curb stop and retain the title. And then afterwards, him
oh
and Finn Balor had a face off to end the show, and looking like they're probably going to do that at the pay per view.
wow,
They did have a segment on Raw earlier in the show where Finn Balor was talking about how Damian Priest was going to cut Seth Rollins' title reign short, and then Rollins replied saying simply, "Yeah, even if my title reign is short, it'll still be longer than yours was." Remember? Remember?
I remember Kurt. He never lost the Universal Championship, Kurt. I remember he got hurt, unfortunately, at SummerSlam, and he had to relinquish the title the next night on Raw. I remember.
Of course,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. That was a
Did
hard
he
line. She was
lose?
hilarious.
I know that's hurt. That sucks though. But damn, I mean, you have to do that in wrestling, man. You gotta like be a little bit of a jerk, man. I don't care. Like,
Yeah, you're gonna have the shortest title reign for that title ever. He's gonna like, yeah, my title reign will still be longer than yours was back then.
Jesus.
Yeah, so they did. So it's looking like they're gonna do that match at the pay per view, which I'm down for.
Hell yeah.
Also, we had a segment of Miz TV between Cody Rhodes and Dominic Mysterio, which is actually pretty interesting.
That was kind of random though to see those two like randomly put in together.
But I like how they did it. I like how like Dominic was like talking about like criticizing Cody for being a bad dad. He's like saying, "You remind me just like my dad Ray. You're deadbeat dad. Also, you're on the road all the time. When you have a baby at home, you should be ashamed of yourself." And then Cody got up in that ass, basically calling his match at WrestleMania with Rey Mysterio a public spanking. And then he's like saying your dad and I were adults. We make mistakes, and you want to know how I know your dad makes mistakes because I'm looking at one right now, pointing at him.
Yeah, that wow. I
And then Dominic acts like he's leaving with Rhea, and then as Cody's back's turn, he sneaks in and smacks Cody in the face. And as Cody's trying to get back at him, he hides behind Rhea Ripley.
He hides behind Rhea Ripley, but yet a couple weeks ago, Rhea advocated for him to get a title shot. That I laughed so hard when I heard that. Oh,
I actually like that they're going to be doing this feud. I think it'll be interesting with that, and also I feel like Dominic hasn't been doing much since WrestleMania and that feud with his dad, and I feel like he needs like another feud to like further establish his scumbagness.
scumbagness.
Yeah, yo, that dude gets
Oh,
nuclear heat. Like every time he goes on the mic,
I
he's like
know, I
beaming that
know.
crowd.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, I know.
Shit. It looks like they're going to do that match also. And we also have qualifiers for the men's and women's Money in the Bank matches. And for the men so far, we have Nakamura,
hmm
Ricochet, as well as LA Knight, who is the heavy favorite, actually. A lot of people
Dude,
are pushing hard for him to win.
he's getting very well with the crowd.
Yeah, that match he had with Montez Ford on SmackDown last Friday, the crowd was actually booing Montez.
Damn, man, that's kind of sad to hear though.
It wasn't, I don't think it was anything against Montez. It was more for the fact that they really like LA Knight.
I know though, but still, but man,
He might be turning heel soon anyway. He'll be fine.
oh yeah,
Plus, he has Bianca to come home to every day.
uh-huh.
Yes, so those are the three qualifiers so far, with more to come in the next week or so. And for the women so far, we have Becky Lynch, Zelina Vega, as well as Zoe Stark, with more
Okay,
qualifying matches to come. And
yes,
I feel like the two people who most people want to win Money in the Bank for the men and women, the two favorites, are LA Knight for the men, and for the women, Io Sky.
I see. Io Sky. Okay, yeah, I definitely yeah, Io Sky will be the perfect, especially with the match that she had at Backlash. Yeah.
And now that Asuka's the women's champion, now she gets to feud with her. That'd be a fun
Mm-hmm.
feud.
That would. That would.
Yeah, that sounds a lot more fresh and exciting than like Bianca against somebody else because yeah, Bianca's pretty much run out of opponents
I
or
know,
ran out
man. It's
of opponents.
just that is a big momentum killer.
Yeah. So the men and women still have some qualifying matches coming up in the next week to see who else will round it up. So we have those two. We have the Rollins and Finn Balor match more than likely, and we're probably more than likely going to get for the Intercontinental title Gunther against Matt Riddle, which I know you've really been wanting to see.
Hell yes, dude. Yes. Yes.
And also Imperium against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the tag titles. I can definitely see that going
Ooh,
down at the pay per view too.
that will be good for Imperium.
Yeah, it'll be a fun match. It's new and fresh too. It's a new feud.
Oh yes.
Also, Kevin Owens and Gunther had a great match on Raw Monday. They killed it.
Mm,
The finish a lot of people didn't care for, but besides that, the match was great. I would definitely
uh,
love to see that match again. And then Matt Riddle beat the hell out of the Imperium dudes backstage afterwards, single handedly.
yeah, I told you, man. This is setting it up, man. Riddle. I mean, he's been back, and really nothing much has happened. You need to seize this opportunity. I'll let it slide because of Mustafa Ali, because of the fact that the show was in Saudi Arabia, though. But we're that's over, and we're past that now. Put Matt Riddle in contention for that Intercontinental belt.
More than likely seeing that happen at Money in the Bank, which will be taking place in London. But before that, we do have the debut of a new AEW show on Saturday nights called Collision. And last week,
Yes.
Tony Khan officially made the announcement that CM Punk will be making his return on that night.
Yes. And they even announced the main event for that night.
Yes, they did announce the main event for that night. It's going to be a six-man tag with CM Punk and FTR taking on Jay White, Juice Robinson, and Samoa Joe.
Yes. Dude, it's how long has it been since CM Punk and Samoa Joe been in the ring with each other? Not since freaking Ring of Honor, Kurt.
Yes, 2005. That was the last time they wrestled each other.
Right.
But the thing is, when they announced that Punk was going to be returning, and also when they showed his graphic on the screen last night, he's gotten kind of a mixed reaction.
Mm.
I'm sure more than likely he'll get a good reaction in Chicago, but I'm not sure about the other cities afterwards.
We have to wait and see, man. So we don't want to.
But I know he won't be working with those elite dudes because Apparently, they did all sign that NDA that I mentioned. But the one thing that would be cool when Punk does return is for him to come back as a heel. I think that would probably make more sense
Really?
because of the way he came off looking in that whole press conference, and like a lot of the goodwill he's lost with the fans because of that. Yeah, like for him to come back as a heel would kind of make sense. Doesn't look like it's going to be happening right now, but who knows? Maybe it will. Or maybe it might be like a thing where like he's cheered in Chicago, kind of like Bret Hart with the Canada and America stuff, and then he's booed everywhere else.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. And also, we did have a show last week called AEW Double or Nothing that took place in Las Vegas. And I actually
Yeah.
heard a lot of mixed reviews for this show. I heard it wasn't like one of their stronger shows.
I mean, it did have its good moments, though, but
It featured some title changes, including Jade Cargill's over 1 year reign as TBS champion coming to an end as she was defeated by the returning Chris Statlander right after she had just finished beating Taya Valkyrie, which was a little strange how they did it, but I guess apparently Jade Cargill wanted to take some time off and that's why she dropped the title. But I have to admit, for the long title reign she had, I wasn't a fan of the way they had her drop it.
wow, crazy.
Also, Jamie Hayter lost the AEW Women's title to Toni Storm, and her arm was actually injured going into the match. That was a story that did come
Oof.
out, and then the way they did the match, it was really short, and they had they did an angle where she was attacked before the match started, and that ultimately led to her losing the title.
Damn. Oh man.
And MJF, to no surprise, retained the AEW title in one of the best matches of the night in the four way, which some people are calling one of the best four ways of all time.
Hmm. What do you thought about his promo with Adam Cole on Dynamite?
Oh, I loved it. It was great. They both
Loved
they
it.
both bodied it.
Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Looks like that's gonna be the next feud.
Oh hell yes! And I can't wait. Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm more than down. I'm more than down for that. And they mentioned Vince McMahon on the fucking show too.
Are you serious?
MJF was talking about like Adam Cole in NXT, and he was like saying there was one person who didn't see the value in you, and that one person, I think we all know who he was, and that person was Vince McMahon. He actually said that, and he said, "I'm a big fan, by the way."
Dang. Oh wow.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun match when it does happen. It's probably gonna happen at maybe All Out, probably All Out in September.
Mm, wow.
And also during Double or Nothing, Ty Mello and Sammy Guevara, during Sammy Guevara's entrance, made the announcement that they are expecting their first child.
Oh yes, I saw that. Congratulations to them. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, they are expecting their first child. And also, Alexa Bliss and her husband will also be expecting their first child, too.
Hmm. Congratulations.
Yes, which will explain why we haven't seen her on TV in a while. The baby is due in December of
Mm,
this year, so we probably won't be seeing her back for like at least another year or so. But congratulations to
mm.
her. Congratulations to Ty Mello and Sammy Guevara. And they were making that joke online that like it's kind of the curse of Oscar that everybody Oscar works with ends up getting pregnant right afterwards. First Becky, then Lacey Evans,
Mm.
now Alexa Bliss. Who knows? Bianca might be next. Montez Ford better be careful. Also, congratulations to Omos as he got married last week. I saw some pictures of it online, and yes, Omos did get married.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I saw that. Congratulations to him.
Congratulations to him. Also, happy 58th birthday to Mick Foley. It is Mick Foley's birthday today. Happy birthday to him.
Yes. I was just seeing videos of him just when he was making fun of The Rock on that segment when The Rock had won the title to King of the Ring the next night. Mick Foley asked him how does it feel to be world champion again? And The Rock was about to answer, and Mick Foley cuts him off saying it doesn't matter what you think. And Mick said he always wanted to do that. That was the funniest thing I ever seen. The Rock even like broke character and laughed about it too. So
Yeah, well, yeah, that shit was hilarious. That shit was hilarious. Like he ran around the ring, like jumping up and down with like his hand raised in the air.
yeah.
Shit was great.
Oh man.
Crazy. And
But yeah, happy birthday to him.
happy birthday to Mick Foley. And before we get out of here, let's talk about the Dark Side of the Ring season that just dropped last week. I did watch the first two episodes. The episode last week with about Tammy Sitch and Chris Candido's relationship, and also this week's episode about Magnum TA.
Mm.
It's crazy. The Tammy Sitch and Chris Candido story. They basically were high school sweethearts. Like Chris Candido was wrestling once, and then he noticed her in the front row, and that's when they like started dating and
Oh,
started and got together and all that. And she initially didn't want to be a part of wrestling. That was like his thing. That's what he wanted to do. But then when he was in Smoky Mountain, Jim Cornette like either saw her in person or like saw a picture of her, and he's like thought that like she had something to offer and that she could maybe be a character. So what he did
mm.
was, since it was in the South, like the Mid South, like where they were like really hardcore Republican, she would have her do promos where she would like endorse Hillary Clinton and talk about how like Hillary Clinton's a hero, someone we could look up to, and all that, and that would automatically make the audience hate her.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she initially didn't want to get into wrestling. She was actually going to like medical school or about to go to medical school, and then like they talked her into doing that, and then over time it just caught on, and then she became a character along with Chris Candido, and they eventually made it to the WWE where they were the Body Donnas during Vince McMahon's acid trip of 1995. When you look at all the gimmicks he put out,
Good lord.
yeah,
The
there was
Bonnie Donnas was like that. That tag team was that was
that was some Richard Simmons type shit. I'm a pony. I'm a
yeah.
pony. I'm a pony.
Oh my god. The Russell. Oh my god.
Holy
Russell
shit.
was so weird with their gimmicks back then. Jesus.
The gimmick was bad, and then eventually they did add Tom Pritchard, who they also interviewed for this documentary as his tag team partner. And yeah, the gimmick was bad, but the gimmick did help Sunny become popular because Sunny ended up like really coming into her own as a character during that period.
Oh yeah. She was the manager. She really stood out on her own and really it's kind of like similar with like Sable and Mark Merrow in a way.
Yeah, and then there was like that one point where like she managed like three different sets of tag team champions, being the Donnas, then the Godwins, and then
Yeah,
the
the
Smoking
smoking
Guns.
guns. Yeah.
And then eventually she like ends up branching away from Skip and Zip, and then goes on her own, does her own thing, and then she like really like catches on like during that whole initial internet boom, and they talk about like how she was like the most downloaded female of like 1996, and how like her career was starting to take off, but like Candido's career was kind of like not really going far.
Wow.
Yeah, like that was going down, and also the fact that Sonny was hooking up with Shawn Michaels, and everybody knew about it.
Sunny days. Boy.
Yeah, so like Chris Candido was put in a bad spot where like on the one side, he can't like really fight Shawn Michaels or fuck with Shawn Michaels because of that, because Shawn Michaels is the top guy and like he's a dude like just trying to hold on to his job. And also on the flip side, him like just letting that shit go and not doing anything about it made him lose respect with the other dudes in the locker room.
Wow.
A kind of a similar thing happened a decade later from the stories I've heard with John Morrison, Batista, and Melina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I always heard those stories that yeah, like when John Morrison and Melina were together, she was also messing around with Batista too.
Yeah, she I heard stories that Melina was messing around with a lot of people. Yeah, mainly Batista. Yeah. Wow.
And yeah, same situation with this. Like when she was with Chris, she was fooling around with Sean. And also, I heard another story that she was fooling around with British Bulldog too. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but I've heard that story more than once.
Wow. Mm-mm-mm.
So that, and also, yeah, so Chris Candido ends up eventually leaving WWE. Then he goes to ECW, and that's where like he really starts to click as a character. Like that's like where like his wrestling skills can like really shine and like really be appreciated. I'll never forget the top rope power bomb. He used to take it and also dish it out too.
Wow.
Yeah, they also interviewed Lance Storm because like him and Lance Storm were partners during that time in ECW. And then Tammy eventually came to ECW also after like her run in WWE ended because she was into drugs and she was messing up and all that. And then when they were in ECW, Paul Heyman had them like charge certain things for the company on their credit cards, and he would like tell them like he would reimburse them the money afterwards. But the thing was, he would never
Huh.
reimburse them the money, so they ended up getting stuck with the bill for like thousands of dollars worth of shit. They got into debt so badly because of this, they had to sell their house.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's why I told you Paul Heyman doesn't come off well in this episode.
As a business person, I would not want Paul Heyman as my financial advisor at that time.
Or ever.
Yeah. You're literally, dude, thank God Paul Heyman was not in the movie Goodfellas. He would have been the first one to get whacked.
Oh, yeah. Oh, forget about it.
Dude, where's my money? Oh,
Fuck you, pay me.
Yikes.
Yeah, that, and also they were going through like some heavy drug problems at the time, to the point where they actually got suspended because of it. And during that time, he had like Tammy specifically do a promo, like talking about their drug problems and like how bad it was getting, kind of like exploiting it. And yeah, he gets a lot of
Yeah.
flack for that, like for the fact that like you put their shit out there like that.
Damn.
Yeah, like he was like very heavily into drugs, and both of them, but like really him specifically, he got really bad for a while, like to the point where I think he had a seizure once. Yeah, he had a seizure, and then eventually he got
Okay.
clean. Eventually, like he got his shit together, he got clean, and he like started like to revamp his career. Then he ended up in TNA, and then in TNA he injured his ankle, and then he had to have an operation because of it. And then right after he had the operation, like he flew back home, which people were advising him not to do because apparently like if you have an operation, like if you fly right afterwards, it causes a lot of like blood swelling, and it could cause like a blood clot,
Oh,
which
damn.
unfortunately happened to him. The blood clot got to his lungs, and then it caused him to have pneumonia, and then that ended up taking his life.
Shit. He was only 33.
Yeah, only 33 years old. This is, yeah, 2005. Yeah, I remember when it happened too. I remember the week when I found out.
Crazy. And it's crazy. He's from New Jersey, just like my mom. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and the saddest part of the episode is like when they have like four different shots. They have a shot of Chris Candido's brother, who they interviewed for this, crying, and then in the next shot they have
Mm.
Lance Storm crying. Then in the shot after that they have Tom Pritchard crying, and then after that, of all people, they have Jim Cornette crying. All four of them
Wow.
consecutively.
Crazy.
Jim Cornette was saying like he was a good kid. He never did anything wrong to anybody. He just always wanted to do right. And it's not fair that he had to go out the way he did and as young as he did.
No, it's not.
And then obviously they get into Sonny's
Wow.
issues, specifically over the last year or so with the whole incident where she killed that old guy. And now she's like facing like
Uh,
severe prison time. Severe prison time. And Jim Cornette even said himself, like, considering who they both were when he first met them, it's like the biggest tragedy to see how they both turned out, especially her.
man. Yeah, that is true, especially her.
Yeah, because he talks about like when he first met her, like she was like young, like her early 20s. Like just seeing the kind of person she was, how smart she was, he would have never guessed that she would have ended up the way she did.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's fucked up, man. And it's crazy. One of our old episodes of this podcast, I had said that Tammy Sitch's story was a Dark Side of the Ring episode waiting to happen, and then what do you know? They made one about her.
Yeah, really not surprised if I'm being honest.
Nah, not at all. Yeah, unfortunate story, very sad. And also in this week's episode, another sad story was the story of Magnum TA.
But you told me a little bit about
This dude was a
Oliver.
big deal in the mid 80s, like in that 85, 86 period. He was probably the second or third biggest
Mm.
babyface in that Jim Crockett promotions territory, like behind Dusty. He was like almost at the
Mm.
same level as Dusty Rhodes.
Mm.
Yeah, he was hot, bro. He
Let
was
me
a big
see.
deal. Yeah, this dude was a big deal. He was on the fast track to becoming the world champion. Let me paint out a scenario. Magnum TA in that territory in 1986 is what Stone Cold was in WWE in 1997.
Oh, wow.
And that comparison is going to make a lot more sense in a second when I talk about what happened, because as he was on the fast track to becoming the world champion, and a match was scheduled between him and Flair for Starrcade of that year where he was going to actually win the title. But in October of that year, he got into a very bad car accident, which left him almost paralyzed. And the accident was so bad that like when it happened, his head hit the roof of the car.
Oh, damn. Did he have his seatbelt on?
I don't know for sure, but it was raining and he was like going too fast, and there was like 2 or 3 inches of like water on the road.
Oh.
He crashed into some kind of like telephone booth or something, and yeah, it was bad. Yeah, he couldn't walk for months. He,
Damn, crazy.
yeah, that accident was so bad that it ended his career. He couldn't wrestle anymore after that.
Shit. I'm looking at his photos right now. He has that look, that build.
I think now he's in a wheelchair, but I think he got eventually got out of it. But now that he's older, I think he's in one
Mm,
now, from what they showed.
mm.
But yeah, like before he got hurt, he was kind of like the wrestling version of the Tom Selleck. That's what they compared him to.
Oh,
Because there was that show Magnum.
the looks,
There
right?
was that
Oh,
show.
he has that look.
Yeah, that was that show back then called
Magnum
Mag.
PI.
Yeah, that was that show back then called Magnum PI. So they made him Magnum TA because TA were like his first and last name initials. So made him that, and it caught
Oh yeah,
on.
Terry Allen. I see. I see. I see.
Yeah, that's why I say like I compare him to Austin
Damn.
in '97 because when Austin had the neck injury, it was like kind of like not for certain that he would be able to wrestle anymore, but luckily he was able to. But in this case, in Magnum TA's case, his career was over after that. He never wrestled again.
Shit. I need to look at his promos. Damn. Damn.
Yeah, I told you, like, he was a big deal during that era, and he had a great feud with Tully Blanchard that culminated at Starrcade '85 in the I Quit match inside of a cage.
You really think that if this would have never happened at Mag, you think WWE would have like picked him up?
I don't know, because the thing was, he was supposed to be like their next guy, like the guy that were gonna like really center the company around, like the guy they were gonna really make as the face of it. But then another interesting thing that came out of the story was that once that happened, that was kind of the beginning of the end for the NWA territory also because 87 things started to fall off and then 88 things got even worse to the point where they had to sell to Ted Turner. So that whole thing was kind of a domino effect.
Damn, all because of that car accident.
Yeah, kind of like in a sense how like the Len Bias death was the beginning of the end for that 80s Celtics team. If you really think about it, this incident was the beginning of the
Oh, you
end.
talking about the basketball player who got drafted and he
Died of an overdose. The
coke
same,
overdose, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
same
yeah, yeah.
year. The
Okay,
same year too, 86.
right.
Yeah, I kind of compare those two where like that was kind of the beginning of the end for that Celtics team, that 80 Celtics team. And then this accident with
Wow,
Magnum TA was kind of the beginning of the end for the run Jim Crockett Promotions was on during that period.
wow. I
Crazy.
gotta watch that episode now.
Yeah, it's a good episode. I
Damn.
mean, he's still alive. He's still doing okay. But yeah, it does suck that
Yeah, yeah.
what
Mhm.
happened when it did.
Oh, he's from Chesapeake, Virginia. Wow.
Yeah, that's why I said, like, imagine if Austin had to retire after that neck injury from Owen.
Damn.
Yeah.
I. Oof.
Yeah, like, imagine how much trouble WWE would have been in if that happened.
Hmm.
Yeah, but both good episodes, and we also have coming this season an episode about Bam Bam Bigelow, episode about Marty Jannetty, an episode about Doink the Clown,
Mm-hmm.
and also Bash at the Beach 2000. They're gonna do an episode about that too.
Oh my God. Oh. Oh my goodness.
I wonder if they interviewed Hogan for it.
Well, I remember how he cut like a little promo saying how like this is why this company is down the drain right now. So, oof, boy, boy,
Yeah,
oh
I know he
boy,
declined to be interviewed for the Macho Man and Elizabeth one, so I'm not sure how willing he would be to be interviewed for this one.
yikes!
Did you see that video I sent you earlier about like an interview with him where he's like shitting on Mick Foley and then Mick Foley kind of shits back at him?
No, no, I haven't really had a chance to like look back at that one. I will.
That was interesting. Yeah, like Hogan was like kind of criticizing Mick Foley for his body and like being out of shape. And
Mm.
then Mick Foley's response to that was like, "You ask Austin, Rock, anybody who's worked with me, my cardio was on point." And he also mentioned that like Hogan couldn't handle the style that he wrestles. That like after 2 minutes of wrestling Foley style, he would be like begging for it to be over.
That is true.
Yeah, because Hogan's style was a lot safer. Granted, it like yeah, it prolonged his career, but his style was a lot safer compared to Foley's.
True, but still, though, I mean, despite of his body, how Hogan described it, Foley was able to still hold his own and still able to compete in matches and
Yeah, he
I'm not
said
talking about in the fact that they were long matches, Kurt. We're talking about like matches that go on like 20 plus minutes.
Foley's body of work. I feel like in a way, it's aged better than Hogan's has.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that's also another thing that came out of the Candido and Tammy Sitch documentary is that even though Sunny was a bigger deal like at her peak and like more popular at her peak, Chris Candido's wrestling style was like more influential and like more people like adapted into their own to the point where like if Chris Candido was like wrestling today, he would be okay and like he would fit in fine.
Hmm.
Like he was a trendsetter in that regard. Like his wrestling style is like how a lot of people, other people who came after him, like wanted to wrestle also.
I feel you.
Yeah, it beats like that sometimes. Just like how, like, even though Hogan was more popular at his peak than Bret Hart was in his peak, I'm much more of a Bret Hart fan than I am a Hogan fan.
I'm more of a Bret Hart fan too, though, because I like his ring work way better than Hogan. So
All right, but anything else you want to get into tonight, my dude?
that's about it. I can't wait to see what's gonna happen on SmackDown. I am gonna take a look into the Magnum TA episode pretty soon, hopefully later this week, and can't wait for the more wrestling news to come as always.
Also, the NBA finals and the NHL finals for you.
Yep, Stanley Cup final, and I have a good chance that Vegas is gonna win it. Man, it's gonna be Las Vegas is going to be just blown away if this happens. So they'll be playing
Kind of wish I
later
could be there for it.
tonight. Dude, this city is just it's on one right now, Kurt. The vibe is just it's none other. It's Vegas Golden Knights fever going on over here in Vegas, and I love it, and I'm glad to be a
Hell
part of
yeah,
it. So I'm
bro.
hoping, yeah, love it.
Maybe you'll come around to the Raiders one of these days since they're in your home city.
Good God, they're not homegrown local like the Knights or the Las Vegas Aces. Nah.
What would you do if I showed up to Vegas when I see you next time and I was wearing a Raiders jersey or an Oilers jersey?
You know what? Can I ask you something? I wanted to tell you this, but what if I came? What if I saw you? What if we saw each other again and I wore a Kim Elijah Wan Rockets jersey?
I wouldn't. I'd be okay.
You wouldn't. You will be okay. You
I could.
sure about that?
Yeah, I can live with it. It is what it is. He was a
Huh?
great. I can live with it. It is what it
Oh
is. He's a
God.
great player,
Oh. Okay.
bro. It sucks that the Knicks lost, but yo, he was MVP. He was league MVP and also Defensive Player of the Year that season. So they didn't lose like some slouches or some bums.
Damn shame is what if, man? That possibility could have been the Bulls versus the Rockets that year if Jordan did not retire. Oh.
Yeah, there's a lot of great finals we didn't get. Also, a lot of great celebrity WrestleMania angles they should have done that they never did. Two of them actually came to me yesterday.
Like what?
Since I was watching the Arnold documentary yesterday, they were talking about the rivalry that him and Sylvester Stallone had back in the day,
Oh Lord.
and how it was like so tense that they couldn't be in the same room together usually,
Good God.
and they would like try to compete with each other.
I
Where like if Stallone killed 15 people in his movie, Arnold would have to kill 30 people in his movie. Yeah, they were like legit like in competition with each other.
Oh my God.
So I'm saying
I can't,
they
man.
should have done that match at WrestleMania 3.
They should have. The perfect setting, and pretty much like during the right time because Arnold had already had a good handful of good movies under his belt. Same thing with Stallone. Oh, that would have been perfect. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's crazy. The first movie of Arnold's actually to make $100 million or over that was the Twins.
What? Twins?
Twins was his first movie to ever break $100 million. Yeah,
Holy crap.
yeah. My thing with Arnold and Stallone is that I feel like in the '80s Stallone was the bigger deal, but by the early '90s I feel like Arnold had surpassed him. By Terminator 2, I feel like Arnold had topped Stallone.
No, I feel like Stallone. I feel like Arnold. I've always surpassed Stallone, even during the '80s. Kurt, like I watch like movies like Conan the Barbarian. You think about the first Terminator. We always talk about the second Terminator, right? But we sleep on the first one. That one really kind of like bolts him up, and then you can't forget Predator. Um, Total Recall didn't come out not till '90 though, but still, I felt Arnold hit different. Like Stallone was like, okay, other than Rocky, he just had Rambo. I mean, the first Rambo movie was only good. The others are kind of like, eh. You know what I mean?
I heard the second one was pretty good. The second one I heard was good.
Oh, I mean,
Also,
I
what's his
can't.
name? The guy who plays John Kreese is in the second Rambo.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, I really can't think of another good Stallone movie outside of Rambo and
There's a
Rocky
couple.
that's like
There's a
in the
couple.
'80s. Like what? Like what? Cobra?
Never saw that. Not Cobra. Um, I remember liking Over the Top back then. I haven't seen it in years, but I remember liking it back then at least.
Oh, is that the one where is that the one where he's the truck driver?
Yeah, the arm wrestling movie. That one.
Oh,
I think Terry Funk's in it.
right. Yeah, I'm sorry, but
To be honest, even
Arnold's
Arnold.
movies like they hit different for me,
Not
especially for the
overall.
'80s.
No, overall, I like Arnold's movies more overall. But I feel like in the '80s, these only movies of his I really liked were, yeah, Terminator, Predator, and I guess Twins. I've only really seen Twins once, but I guess Twins. All of his other movies I never really
But you haven't
saw. I never
seen.
really.
Oh yeah, you haven't seen Conan the Barbarian.
Nah, I never saw that one. Commando, I think he had some movie called Commando.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, like other than those ones, I can't really think of any other ones in the '80s. I feel like Stallone was more popping in the '80s, and then like by that early '90s period, like after Total Recall, Kindergarten Cop, and Terminator 2, that's when Schwarzenegger I feel like topped him. That's when I feel like there was no debate of who the bigger star was between the two of them.
I was always Arnold over Stallone. I just because it was like the number of movies that he was in, and then like compared to like Stallone, like he just had what those
Yeah, and in the
to me he
'90s,
just had
and
those two. He just had what Rocky and he had Rambo. Other than that, it was kind of like what it was just
well, two of his other movies in the '90s that were good though were Cliffhanger and
cliffhanger.
also Cop. Cliffhanger was dope, bro. Cliffhanger was mad dope.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Cliffhanger was better than Last Action Hero.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
They came out around the
I'll
same
get.
time, and you know what's
I'll, okay.
funny? Arnold kind of went into a depression because of how badly Last Action Hero flopped.
Oh Jesus! I mean, he did redeem himself afterwards, though. But still,
Oh yeah, with True Lies. Yeah, they actually interviewed Jamie Lee Curtis for that.
yeah.
Yeah, True Lies was fun, and True Lies was a fun movie. It was actually
I
the
think
first
the
R-rated
only,
movie I ever saw in
I
theaters. First rated R
really,
movie I ever
I
saw in
think, I
theaters.
think the one '90s movie that Arnold, where I'm kind of like, what the hell? The only thing I laugh is just like his one-liners was Batman and Robin.
Yeah, I don't want to remember that one.
Me neither. Like, but I just.
And it's you know what's
he,
funny? Speaking of Batman and Robin, you know what's funny? That was like his last
what?
like really big movie in the '90s. Now that I look back on it.
It's true though, but they were hyping up. What's that one movie in '99? End
End
of
of Days.
Days. They hyped that up a
I heard
lot,
it
but that
sucked
wasn't
though. I
even a
heard it
good
was whack
movie.
though.
It was bad, and then there was Eraser.
That was before. That Eraser was '96.
Yeah, but I was still. Oh wait, that came out. I thought it came out later.
Nah, Eraser came out in '96.
Oh okay. Mm.
Yeah, so but then the thing was after Batman and Robin, he had to have a heart operation, and after that operation, like it kind of like made him not be able to film his movies the same way. Like he had to be extra careful, and like the insurance companies like didn't want him like to take any unnecessary chances or things along those lines. So basically, after that heart surgery, that was kind of the beginning of the end of like his full time acting career, like his run at the
I
top.
I see. I see. Wow. Mm.
And then he got into becoming governor.
Oh my, Kurt. I didn't tell you this, but I was living in California when he was governor.
His governorship kind of gets like mixed reviews. Like a lot of people were down for him, a lot of people were not down for him.
Yeah, that was like Arnold's the governor of California. What?
But I will say this. I will say this. I probably don't. I
uh,
probably wouldn't agree with all of. I probably wouldn't agree with probably all of his political views. But
I
unlike
didn't really.
Trump, he does come off like. Unlike Trump, he at least comes off as a dude who's like smart and like educated and knows what he's talking
Yeah,
about
I
to
didn't
a
really.
degree.
I didn't know his stance on any of his political views because, like, I was what, like, just going into middle school when he got
Middle
elected,
school.
so I really wasn't. Yeah, I really wasn't really like paying attention to all of that stuff though. But yeah, I was like, he's the governor. I was like, the hell? I was like, oh man. But yeah,
Yeah, that. But him being the governor caused like a lot of issues for like his marriage and also his relationship with his kids and all that. Like, because he was always so busy that he couldn't like be around for them as much as he should have been. And then obviously then they get into the story about like the whole incident where like he got one of the ladies who was a part of his housekeeping staff pregnant, and then
oh, I
they didn't like.
remember that story. I remember
Yeah,
that.
he talks
Oh
about it.
man.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
talks about it
Holy
how like
crap.
they didn't know until they didn't really recognize it until years later when they saw the kid. Like, oh shit, that is Arnold's kid.
Jeez. I remember that
Yeah,
story.
they actually showed the kid now. Like the kid now, he's like in his like mid 20s. He's like 25, 26 now. He looks just like him.
Yeah. Holy crap.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. But he said him and Maria are still cool. Like they're still friends, even though that all happened. But they did not interview her for this documentary, though. I did notice that.
Hmm. I need to watch his new movie.
Oh, that's not a movie. That's a show. That like show subpar or whatever. It's not a movie. It's a series.
What? Oh, is it serious? I thought it was a movie.
The one on Netflix. No, it's a series. It's his first actual series. Believe it or not.
Oh, I thought that was a. Oh, I'm tripping.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's the first time
Okay.
he's ever done a series. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay.
All right, but yeah, it was interesting stuff. That documentary was really good. Also, his bodybuilding career was also very interesting too.
That's what got him into Hollywood because of his bodybuilding.
Yeah, he had his physique definitely stood
How it
out.
all started.
Definitely stood out.
That's how it all started.
Him and Gunther are from the same place. They're both from Austria.
Oh, wow.
Maybe Arnold could be in his corner at WrestleMania next year.
Crazy. Slap Triple H like he did the last time. That crap was, dude. His appearance on SmackDown. I'm just say this last thing before we get off. But yeah, his appearance on SmackDown. Oh my god, that was like that was like the funniest thing I've ever seen. He didn't just hit Triple H. He like backhanded him.
It was
He
crazy.
ducks and he backhands Triple H, and then insult to injury, he keeps punching him while he's down on the ground. That was like the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Also, another thing I shouldn't forget to say, another WWE Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Always been a big wrestling fan. Always spoke up for wrestling too.
Oh, that's good.
He comes off like a cool, decent guy for the most part. There was like a certain thing he said in it that kind of threw me off. Where like he was talking about like his dad dying, and he kind of like didn't really. He kind of had like a nonchalant attitude about it. Like, what am I gonna do? Cry about it all day? Who cares? And that was like from an old interview. Then they played it for him, like currently. And then he says like he's not a doctor. He doesn't really know a lot about this stuff. But he just says like when you're on a mission, when you're trying to accomplish things, you don't really have time to think about if you're depressed today, if you're sad today, or if your mental health is off. He's like he also said that people like that probably don't work enough.
I don't know. I feel like maybe there's something that was the relationship between him and his dad was a little off. I don't
No,
know.
it wasn't great. He gets into that. It wasn't great. His like dad was like super abusive, but
Right.
just that attitude in general, like the way he said that, I'm like, oh shit, I didn't see that coming.
Mm, gotcha.
All right, but in any event,
Okay.
for John Randall, this is Kirk Cadet for another edition of the Clash of the Champions, and we will see you guys next time. God bless, take care, and don't be an asshole and a dumbass in real life or social media. See you guys next time.